Good morning. The next topic is tool steels. Mostly tool steels are used to manufacture tools. So it is special tools which have developed to form, cut or change the shape of material into finished or semi-finished product. So firstly we have raw material, and if you want to remove the material from that raw material and develop this raw material into finished product or semi-finished product, so for that purpose a tool is used. The purpose of tool is to remove the unwanted material from the workpiece. Okay, so basically the hardness of tool must be higher or more than the raw material. So this is the special type of steels used for manufacturing tools. So tools and dies. So dies are also a kind of tools which are used to make uh, slots, grooves, or to give the shapes to the billets. Okay, or sheets. So general properties of tool steels are wear and abrasive resistance, red hardness. Red hardness means hardness at elevated temperature. So these steels maintain their hardness at higher temperatures. Then non-deforming properties, as because of high wear and abrasion of tool, the tool may get deformed. So to avoid that deformation, tool steels have properties like non-deforming properties, means tool steel will not deform under high load and under high stresses, thermal and mechanical stresses. Then applications of tool steels are drills, reamers, broach, hobs, taps and chisel. So these are the type of tools. Drills are used to make hole, blind hole or through holes. Reamers are used to finish the already drilled holes. Broaches are also used to make slots and grooves. Hobs are used to make gears. Taps are used to make internal threads, and chisels are used to remove the material from the workpiece. So these are the applications of tool steels. Then classification of tool steels. So first one is W high speed steels. W means tungsten. High tungsten speed steels. The composition of W high speed steels are carbon 0.7%, then chromium 4%, vanadium 1% and tungsten 18%. Then properties of high tungsten speed steels are high heat and wear resistance. You already know tungsten have higher melting point, hence if you add tungsten in speed steels or steels, then it will give you high heat and wear resistance properties, low toughness, then good machinability, then fair resistance to decarburization. These are the properties of steels. Then applications: drills, reamers, broaches and hobs generally made from this. Next, molybdenum high speed steels. So compositions: carbon 0.8%, chromium 4%, vanadium 1%, tungsten 1.5% and molybdenum 8%. In molybdenum high speed steels you will see tungsten 1.5% and molybdenum 8%. The percentage of molybdenum is more than tungsten. Then properties: high heat and wear resistant, low toughness, good machinability and fair resistance to decarburization. You will see here properties of these tool steels are generally near about same and applications are near about same, only composition is different. So here tungsten is replaced by molybdenum and other factors are near about same. Then high carbon and high chromium steels, these are also type of tool steels. So composition of carbon 1.5%, means 1.5% carbon are there. Then chromium 12%, high chromium, and molybdenum 1%. Okay. Then properties: medium heat and high wear resistant. Okay, heat resistant is low. Why it is low heat resistant? Because tungsten or molybdenum is absent, or very less quantity of molybdenum is there, hence the medium heat resistant steel is there. Then low toughness, bad machinability, then fair resistance to decarburization, these are the properties. Then application: blanking dies, threading dies are mostly made by these steels. Then air hardening steel. So the composition of air hardening steels are carbon 1%, chromium 5%, and molybdenum 1%. Then properties are medium heat and high wear resistant. Then medium toughness is there. Then good machinability, fair resistant to decarburization, and applications are tools and dies. Then oil hardening steels. Then composition is carbon 0.9%, chromium 0.5%, manganese 1%. So here manganese is added in oil hardening steels. Then tungsten 0.5%. The properties are low heat and medium wear resistant, medium toughness, good machinability, fair resistant to decarburization. Then applications are tools and dies, mostly made by these oil hardening steels. Then water hardening steels. So carbon 0 to 0.6 to 1.4%, then vanadium 0.25%. Properties are low heat and low wear resistant, good machinability, and best resistant to decarburization. Then applications are inexpensive drills or inexpensive drills, taps and reamers, etc. As it is quenched or hardened by oil, so you already know oil is very easily available and very cheap medium to quench. Hence as compared to oil hardening, it is less expensive, and where the precision accuracy is not required, there we can implement or apply this kind of tools, water quenched or water hardened tools. Then hot work steels. The composition of hot work steels are carbon 0.4%, chromium 3.25%, vanadium 0.4%, and molybdenum 2.5%. Then properties are high heat and medium wear resistant, high toughness, good machinability, fair resistant to decarburization. Then applications are tools for hard forging and blanking dies, etc. Okay, forging means to compress the hot metal and to make a product by compressing. So for compressing there are two dies, one is upper die and one is lower die. So in between these two lower and upper die, the material get pressed by mechanical, hydraulic or pneumatic power. Okay, and by this power we can have a product or semi-finished product. Then shock resisting steels. So composition is 0.5% carbon, chromium 1.5%, tungsten 2.5%. Then properties: medium heat and low wear resistant, high toughness, and then good machinability, poor resistant to decarburization. Then applications are pneumatic tools and hand chisels are mostly made using these shock resisting steels. Then high speed steels. So these are the commonly used steels for tools. So mostly you will find tools made up of high speed steels. Okay. So these steels maintain high hardness up to 550 degrees centigrade and hence can be used for cutting of metal at higher speeds. They have high wear resistance and cutting ability, classifies based on the alloying elements such as tungsten high speed steel and molybdenum high speed steel, also known as T series and M series. So tungsten T series steels have high tungsten with chromium, vanadium and cobalt, and then M series have high molybdenum with tungsten, chromium, vanadium and cobalt. So low cost than HSS, low cost HSS. So as tungsten is costier, hence we use tungsten in less amount and added molybdenum with chromium, vanadium and cobalt to make it cheaper. So double and triple tempering is required for HSS to completely transform written austenite soft material into martensite, which is hard material. As we are making these steels for tools, the hardness of these tools must be high. So you already know, if you quenched austenite into martensite, there is some amount of written austenite is present there. So written austenite already know austenite is very soft material, and if it is present in the metal, the material properties or metal will be soft, so non-uniform hardness will be there. So to remove this written austenite, or to eliminate this written austenite, double triple tempering is required. Tempering means heating above the or near about pre-crystalline temperature and cool down it, and then again heating and again cooling it. So there is one cyclic type of pattern of heating and cooling is there. So during this heating and cooling, the written austenite gets transformed into martensite if we can quench it in water or oil. Okay, so these are the written austenite, and how this written austenite is converted into martensite. So basically tempering is required to convert that written austenite into martensite. So as martensite is very hard, and we required martensite in our tool steels, hence we will tempered the high speed steels. So application of high speed steels are drills, taps, reamers, milling, cutters, sponges, lathe, tools, etc. So lathe is the machine used to make a product. Okay, so mostly workpiece is rotated and tool is force in forward or depth of cut and feed is given by the tool, and by this way metal is removed from the workpiece. Then stainless steels. So these are the commonly used steels. Mostly the homes utensils are made by these stainless steels. The name already shows stainless means no stain or no rusting is taken place here, or very negligible rusting is there. Okay, so high corrosion resistance is there. So this is due to the presence of chromium. So chromium is there, and that will prevent it from corrosion. So chromium oxidizes rapidly and form hydrous chromium oxide, which prevent further oxidation. So it is already oxidation is done, means already corroded and form a layer of chromium oxide which cannot be further oxidized. Okay, oxidation means one type of corrosion is there. Okay, oxidation means it will react with oxygen and moisture and will form a corrosion. Okay, so that is the reaction of corrosion. So this hydrous chromium oxide will not corrode again. Okay, then composition of stainless steels are ferrous plus carbon plus chromium 12 to 13%, 30%, and nickel manganese is added for further improvement or further improvement in mechanical properties and physical appearance of properties. So properties of stainless steels are high corrosion resistance is the first main property of the stainless steel, then high ductility and formability, because stainless steel have less carbon percentage and high chromium percentage. So because of less carbon percentage, it is soft and it is ductile, and because of soft and ductile, it can be molded easily, and by these forming machines or rolling machines, you can easily form it into any other products. So high good formability is one of the property of this stainless steel. Then good weldability and good machinability, as it is soft, hence machinability is very good of this metal. Then excellent surface finish and appearance. You already seen in your home the stainless steel has excellent surface finish, okay, and appearance also, okay. Then classification of stainless steels. So stainless steels are classified as ferritic stainless steels. So ferritic microstructure is there, and magnetic at room temperature. Okay, means if you keep magnet near the stainless steel, this ferritic stainless steel, then it is magnetic in nature, means metal will attract towards the magnet. Then low carbon and chromium ratio is there, non-hardenable or good ductility, and more corrosion resistance is there of ferritic stainless steel. The composition of ferritic stainless steel is 0.08% of carbon to 0.2% of carbon, means low carbon steel, plus chromium is 12 to 27%. So application of ferritic stainless steels are vessels, furnace parts, juice carrying pipes, and sugar industries. Then martensitic stainless steels. So martensitic structure is observed in this martensitic stainless steels, and it is magnetic, okay, and high carbon to chromium ratio is there, and high hardenable and less corrosion resistance is there. Composition is 0.15% to 0.9%, and chromium is 11 to 18%. Then types of this martensitic stainless steel is low carbon martensitic, low carbon NiBr, then medium carbon, then high carbon. Then applications of this martensitic stainless steels are, these are springs, tempered rolls, cutleries, surgical tools, and ball bearings. Then austenitic stainless steels. So these are the austenitic, means microstructure will be observed as austenitic stainless steels. Then non-magnetic, if you keep the magnet near this austenitic stainless steel, it will not attract toward the magnet. And non-hardenable and highest corrosion resistance, okay. So super weldability and formability. Composition 0.08% to 0.2% of carbon, and chromium is 17 to 24%, and nickel is added to 8 to 15% here. So high nickel steels, then especially corrosion resistive steels, then stabilized steels, extra low carbon steels, and high machinable steels are the types of these stainless steels, means austenitic stainless steels. Then applications of these austenitic stainless steels are aircraft heater, aircraft exhaust manifold, and boiler, etc. Then what is sensitization of austenitic stainless steel? So in between 425 to 825 degrees centigrade, the corrosion resistance of austenitic stainless steel decreases rapidly, and corrosion occurs at grain boundaries. This corrosion known as sensitization, okay. So during this heat treatment process, the corrosion resistance of austenitic stainless steel decreases, okay. So corrosion occurs at grain boundaries. So there are grain boundaries. For example, this is our metal, and in that metal, so these are my grains, okay, these are my grains, this is grain, this is grain, this is grain, and in between this grain there is some boundary, okay, these are the boundaries. So the corrosion takes place at these boundaries first, and this corrosion known as sensitization, okay. So when austenitic stainless steel is slowly cooled, chromium carbide get precipitated along the grain boundaries. So the formation of chromium carbide reduces the amount of free chromium in that steel, and hence corrosion resistance decreases rapidly and sensitization occurs. So sensitization can be avoided. So corrosion is not our purpose, okay. We are not interested in corrosion. So we need to minimize or reduce this or eliminate this corrosion. So there are some techniques available that will avoid the sensitization. So first, decrease the percentage of carbon and maintaining chromium is equal to 12%. Then addition of cobalt and titanium, this is one of the best solution. Then heating steel to 1000 degrees centigrade for 1 hour to dissolve chromium carbide and rapid cooling to avoid the sensitization. Okay, so these are some techniques. Next one is Hadfield manganese steels. So high manganese steels, also known as high manganese steels, so they discovered by Sir Robert Hadfield. Okay, then composition is 12.5% to 14% of manganese there, and 1.2 to 1.4% of carbon. Manganese to carbon ratio is 10:1. Then properties is high toughness and high wear resistance. These are the properties and application of rock crushing machine and caterpillar and bulldozer. Okay, so you already know the rock crushing machine, caterpillar and bulldozer. These are the very heavy duty machines. Okay, so for that heavy duty machines, Hadfield manganese steel is our first choice. Because of high manganese, the hardness is very high and toughness is also very high, and high wear resistance is observed. Okay, not only hardness but toughness and wear resistance is very high. So because of that, these properties, it is mostly used in caterpillar bulldozers. Okay, then maraging steels. So maraging steels are high strength steels. So first austenization is taken place, then air cooled, so age hardening is taken place there because of air cooling. And the composition of maraging steels are nickel percentage 18%, cobalt is 8 to 12%, and molybdenum is 3 to 5%, plus iron is the remaining one. Then very small amount of carbon is there. Okay, and then properties, high strength and high toughness, corrosion resistance but less than stainless steel. Okay, then applications are barrel, aluminum die casting die, then insert cover and die holder. So these are the applications of maraging steels. OHNS steels. So OHNS steel is oil hardened and non-shrinking type of steels. So OHNS is typically tool steels. The process for these OHNS steels are first austenization, then oil quenching, and then tempering. In composition, carbon is 1%, manganese is 1.5%, then tungsten 0.5%, chromium 0.8%, and vanadium 0.2%. Properties: hard surface, greater depth of hardness, high impact strength, and non-shrinking. Then applications is vernier caliper, screw gauge, and dial gauge. These are the application of OHNS steels. Ball bearing steels. So these are the low alloy steels known as ball bearing steels. Very cheap, low cost of production, austenization, then oil quenching and tempering. The process for ball bearing steels. The composition is carbon 1.1%, then manganese 0.5%, chromium 1.3 to 1.5%. Then properties are excellent wear resistant, high hardness at room temperature. Then applications, ball and roller bearing. Then spring steels. So spring steels must have high resilience strength, high modulus of elasticity, and high fatigue strength. Okay, so manufacturing methods for spring steels are hot rolling, hardened oil quenching, tempered, then light duty springs, then cold working, patenting, and cold working. Then composition of spring steels are silica manganese spring steel. Then composition is carbon is 0.45% to 0.55%, manganese 0.8 to 1%, silica 1.5 to 2%. Then process is first austenization taken place, then oil quenching, and then tempering. The application is leaf spring. Then chromium manganese spring steels. The composition is carbon 0.5%, manganese 0.8%, silica 0.4%, chromium 1%. The process for chromium manganese spring steels are austenization first, then oil quench, and then tempering. Mostly leaf spring are made by these chromium manganese spring steels. Then chromium vanadium spring steels, the composition is chromium carbon 0.5%, manganese 0.8 to 1.1%, then vanadium 0.07% to 0.12%, chromium 0.2% to 0.9%. Process austenation, oil quenching and tempering. Then applications are spring for railway engines, then coil spring for motor cars.